Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hidden Existence. Hope everyone is doing all right out there tonight. We've got a great show tonight. And of course, we've got day 3 update of the BIGFOOT Odyssey 168 hours expedition in Florida. And I'm really excited to find out what's been going on with the guys down there. But before that, we have a great guest tonight, all the way from Florida as well, is Richelle G. Welcome, Richelle.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are very welcome. I know you through Rooted Expeditions, Zach's channel. I've seen you on there and I checked out your channel and you do some interesting stuff. I know you're into the paranormal stuff. You also go exploring. And I want to get into Randonautica. I don't know if anybody's heard of this. I actually downloaded the app and I did select a place to go to, but I got scared. I thought, no, there's so many. I'm hearing bad stuff about it. I don't want to find anything dodgy, but you've found some weird stuff with that. But let's go back to the beginning. And how did you get into the paranormal?
Well, way back long ago, my father, who I lost in 2018, and we camp all the time. We're always out in the woods. And there was this particular place that had both cabins and tent campgrounds. And pretty recently, within the past 20 or so years, they had to clear a plot of land for a fire. I forget what you call it. The thing where they plow so the fire can't jump the line. Fire line, probably.
Okay.
And they actually found an old homestead site of one of the original families that lived on that land, and actually what the park is named after. So it's called Starkey Park. So it was I don't know if it was like a secondary homestead or what, but all that was left were the bricks from the chimney, and there was an old shell of a car, which was really cool, some old cattle fencing, and a well. So we had always sort of played around with the old wind-up cameras back in the day. That was new technology. And so we went late at night. He would always lie to me and tell me it was late at night. It was really like 8 o'clock at night. And we took this trail down to see this place, and we had our little wind-up cameras, and we were just snapping pictures, trying to catch orbs. And what happened was, it was just us and another family, but they didn't have kids in the whole entire campground at this time. And we were taking our pictures, and I remember looking across to the other side of the trail, and there were 2 children just standing there, just sort of leaning on the fence, watching us look at this homestead site and take pictures. And I remember distinctly telling my dad, I thought I was the only kid here because I haven't had anybody to play with, And he goes, you are the only kid here. And I'm like, well, then who is that? And he looked, and he actually saw them as well. And he goes, I don't know. And before he could actually finish that sentence, they just sort of turned around and just disappeared.
Wow.
So that was my very impactful, huge imprint on my brain. And we were already sort of dabbling in it. I think he was just, humoring me. But after that, man, I couldn't get enough of it. So somebody asked me a little while ago, have I ever gone back there? And the answer is yes, but I've never seen them again. And I've really never seen anything else besides possible orbs and stuff like that. So I don't know if it was just a thing or what, but I asked him as a grown-up, I said, did I make that up? And he goes, no, you did not. I remember it distinctly. So that was sort of the kickoff to everything. I was probably 7 or 8 years old at the time.
So then, of course, it starts the brain thinking, doesn't it? And the imagination going. So I know you use equipment when you go out, and you pick up a lot of EVPs and things like that. But tell us a little bit about the equipment, how it works, and what you use when you're going out.
Okay, my favorite technology per se. I've got a technology category, and I've got more of a personal using energy fields and my own mind and consciousness field category. Excuse me. So my favorite technology would probably have to be my S-Box, my spirit box. And I learned a hack not too long ago. So for anybody that doesn't know who that is, it's just a small, of course I don't have it with me right now. It's just a small red box. And what it does, it just cycles through radio waves quickly. You can change the speed. And the theory behind that is if there is anything present that wants to talk, it will either come through the white noise of the channels changing, or manipulate somehow the radio waves to say what it needs to say. And generally, we do get intelligent responses from the S-Box, but every once in a while, we will get a full sentence, and it just stops you in your tracks because you're looking at, it's just a little radio thing, and you're watching the channels change. And this sentence is coming from multiple channel sweeps. So you might go from 93.3 all the way up to 107.5 because it's going so quick. And there's no way, yes, there are sometimes stuff comes through the radio waves where it's saying, kids eat free, whatever. And you can tell, it's just says it so fast that it just picks it up as a commercial. But when it goes that far and it actually says an intelligent response or a sentence, it's really neat. The hack I learned is actually to take off the antenna. So you still get some radio interference, but it's a lot less, and it's a lot harder to dispute anything that comes through the S-Box at that time. So that's probably my favorite actual gear.
You think that makes it more localized as well? If you're taking that antenna off, you're literally just picking up maybe what's around you.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. You get a lot less stuff coming through, so it's a little less exciting, especially when you're making YouTube videos, but it really adds to the validity. It's not to say that some, maybe it's utilizing the words coming through to tell you something, but it's not actually their voice and not actually, it's just real easy to pick up on things that are like danger, get out, things like that coming through that are just on the radio or whatever, and confuse that with what's actually going on in the situation.
Cool. So what are the interesting things that you've picked up then that stick out for you in the location? I mean, do you how do you pick your locations to start with? Is there a reason why you go, or do you just know there's places to look at and kind of think I'm going to go there today?
Well, it's sort of a mixture of both, actually. So because I spend a lot of time outside, I basically grew up outside barefoot, but you get to know the lay of the land per se. I was also a master gardener for a little while. So there are certain clues that we would look for. If we didn't have anything to film, or if I didn't have permission to go someplace really cool that's known to be haunted and actually spend the night or whatever to investigate, I found there was a lot of value in some of these trips when you get permission, no trespassing, of course, to some of these older, more forgotten, dilapidated, just, it doesn't have to be like a Bobby Mackey's. It doesn't have to be, this big old insane asylum. Yes, those are awesome, but they're, I believe, all around us all the time. Mm-hmm. So it sort of puts this sad, sometimes happy story of this building that's giving off its own energy with most of the time things that could be hanging around or passing by. It doesn't matter. So the way that we find those basically is just driving around. So we'll see what used to be an old driveway that just appears into nothing. Down here in Florida, we've got grandfather oaks and live oaks that are humongous and hundreds of years old with the Spanish moss. But you'll notice they'll be in a sort of a congregation that lets you know that there probably used to be a homestead under this canopy because they didn't have AC back in the day. Just the way that they're set up. You'll find azaleas and stuff that used to line hedgeways or whatever. It catches your eye. The other day we actually found an orchid tree just hiding out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a homestead back there. So little things that you can pick out if you know what you're looking for. But mostly it's just research of, people, friends in the business. There's a lot of people in this area alone. Some of the bigger YouTubers that actually live right here that will once in a while give you clues. They don't want to give out the location. We don't ever want to give out the location, but there is sort of an unwritten, I'll give you this if you give me that. But it's mostly just doing your research, boots on the ground, making phone calls, sending emails, and things like that. But a lot of what I do is basically just drive ups with permission. I mean, you see it, go back, do a research and all that.
Yeah. So then when you're picking up EVPs or messages or things in those places, are they relevant to that place? Can you back it up in some way with some history of the place that you're at?
Yes. And that to me is probably the coolest part. Very rarely do we go into a place that we don't know. Of course, we don't know everything. Nobody ever knows everything, but we have a general idea from talking with the family or the landowner, how long somebody's lived there, how many times it's changed hands. You'll get catastrophes that happen. Maybe it was hit by a tornado and they rebuilt. Maybe it was a fire. Maybe it was a flood. So you start to get these little bits of evidence, and it really plays into, depending on how many times it's changed hands or what the land used to be before the house was built. There's a lot of Native American history here in Florida. A lot of battles happened here. So all the land is, has been used way before we were ever here. And it really adds a richness to the history of everything that you're going through. I mean, you can literally roll through some of these towns and it just hits you like a brick wall. It's just thick. It's just thick with something. And that's part of the fun, is figuring out what it is. But yeah, we do get EVPs if we've got clues. We don't like to say names in the live videos, because as that would lend credibility if it's said back through. It's more of a privacy thing for me. Even if I have permission, I don't feel like running around a house screaming. Sorry, my dog was just decided to unplug my thing over there. We're good. We don't feel like running around yelling their name in order to get a response, or we don't want to give somebody else a clue, maybe on the internet, that's going to harass somebody. So we sort of keep that part private. And so far, it's been pretty well receptive to, I thought maybe people would be like, oh, you're making this up, give us the information so we can prove it. But nobody's really been like that so far. So we've been very lucky that everybody's understanding that, I get why you don't want to just give out all the information for these people's families who are still around.
Yeah, you don't. There's some things that don't need to be made public, and that's it. Someone's saying, "Where's Daniela?" I'm here in the chat. I don't know. So do you feel do you do any kind of protective thing over yourself when you're going out? Do you ever feel bad energy when you're doing it?
Yes. Another thing that, yes, to answer your question, yes, we Sunshine, my partner, she goes with me, and no, that's not her real name, but she still has a 9 to 5 that is sensitive to a governmental situation. So until we are able to quit that, her name will remain hidden, and you won't see her on any of the videos, but you'll hear her laughing, usually at me, falling or tripping or something. So it is, man, I got to be honest, I forgot your question.
Do you get any? Sorry about that. It's that boring.
No, I'm talking too much.
Well, I know you've been busy and you were working recently, so I know, and I'm like 12 midnight, gone past midnight.
I know.
3 days on the trot. I'm excited about the expedition. Obviously, I want to be up, but yeah, it was about bad energy around you. Do you ever pick up, negativity and stuff like that?
Yes, I apologize. It's just like I'm new doing this. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, we say a little prayer, Sunshine and I, and before we leave the house, we say a prayer when we get to the location. We carry crystals and stones in the car, and when we leave, we always politely tell them that whoever's here, you must please stay here. And we usually tell them we'll come back to visit, because we do. And that usually does it. Now, that doesn't mean that people who aren't accustomed to that level of energy and intuition should just go around poking at things, because you really shouldn't. And I'm not an expert, and I could very well get myself in trouble. But we've been very lucky in that aspect. There was one time that Sunshine got scratched very early on. And then just here recently, I got scratched as well. I actually thought it was a bee sting, but it turned out it wasn't. So
right.
It was scary, to say the least, because it didn't present itself like that. No matter where you go, they're always there. But if you open up yourself to a certain degree and only let certain things, I don't want to say happen, because you can't always control it, which is what happened here.
Yeah.
But you can get a general feel, sort of like when you walk into a crowded room, you can get your feel for the clicks, and you can get your feel for who's getting along and who's not, and things like that. And the one that got me actually snuck up out of nowhere and got me. I had no idea it was there. Usually you can feel them, and they're trying to talk and get in, and you can very kindly shut it out. But this one, came out of nowhere and got me. So yeah, it's very real and very scary. And we did extra prayers and sage, and we carry all that stuff in the truck, and we spray down before we even leave the property. So
yeah, these things can just follow you around, can't they, as well? And
yes,
you just don't know what you're messing with, do you?
exactly. No, you never do.
No. So what other equipment do you use to pick up messages or?
Well, we have our K2 meter, which is just the little box with the lights that go up and down, and that just measures your electromagnetic fields. So if you're holding it next to your computer or your phone, it'll actually go off because it's picking up the electromagnetic waves of whatever's around you. So ghost spirits are said to give off electromagnetic fields. So it will actually detect if anything's around. That meter will spike. We utilize that as well as a simple point and shoot temperature gauge. Sort of takes the ambient temperature of the room. So if something drops or spikes, we'll be able to measure it and record it that way. I have a drone, so I utilize that for, it comes in real handy if there's something that's happened on a higher story that either we can't get to or it's not safe. We can just throw the drone up there and get it that way. We utilize, I've got dowsing rods that I use. I love to use those. That's more of a private thing for me. But I think we're going to start using that more often. It's got its own sense of, you can manipulate it real easy. So I don't like to use it that often because you can't prove what's happening. I mean, you can make them cross and uncross. That doesn't mean that when you're getting intelligent responses from the rods that it's not real. It's just harder to prove. Our newest and favorite is probably cat toys.
Okay.
We utilize little light up balls, little cat toys, and you place them wherever you want them. And if something moves the ball, so you can set it and leave it and point a camera on it or whatever. And if that thing moves even a fraction, the little LED lights go off. So that's pretty cool. And a pack of 2 of them is like $4 on Amazon. So you can get a whole bunch of them. And yeah. So those and those cheap motion detector little ding dong things, those work well. But again, every location is different, and not everything's going to play along. So it's sort of like fishing. You just got to try different stuff.
Throwing it out.
Yes.
Yeah, to see if you get a bite.
Yep.
Is there any way in particular you'd really love to go to that you'd really like to experiment in?
Yeah. There is a place in northern Florida that not a lot of people know about. It came out in the news recently, but it was called the Dozier School for Boys, and it's just a tragic story. You guys can look it up. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it was basically a home mostly for African-American boys, and all boys who were basically acting out as kids. And they would get sent there for simple things like ADHD or being too loud. Of course, there would be some that would have some more, clinically documented things to deal with. But just the stories coming out of that place now that these men are grown and getting old is just terrible. They're over hundreds, don't quote me on that, unmarked graves where the families would send their boys there and they would just never come home. Nobody asked questions because they're out of my hair. These kids are trouble, sort of a thing. There's just torture and all sorts of awful things that happened. So when that came to light a few years ago, of course, the very first people that got to go and explore that place reported that it was severely haunted. And there's even stories from back in the day of there being hauntings there. So I think that would be a very, very emotional, very touching explore. But I would like to chat with them and just let them know that, you know, it's not hidden anymore. And
yeah, it's very sad, isn't it?
it is.
We have places like that where for a number of reasons that you were just thrown into those places and treated as if you were, you know, guilty of something rather than suffering from something, you know, an illness. And I can imagine how sad those places have been, and the energy on there. You know, we've got someone. Oh, how you doing?
Doing good. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good. Looking cozy.
I'm sorry, I can't read. Oh,
You
Richelle.
can't read.
Hello.
I don't know who you've got planned for every day here, so I apologize. I've been a little busy with the stuff I got. These things work, by the way. This is a natural mosquito repellent. Eucalyptus,
Right.
I think.
Okay.
Keeps them off your day. Yeah, and I'm all hooked up with them. So.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted everyone to see. Can you see the wristband?
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
And then the other side. I'm
Very
sorry,
nice.
I don't know. Misplaced.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some of those that we're going to be giving away. The T-shirts, as soon as I order them, are coming in. Hey, shout out to Michael Brecker and Joyce Eicher for continuing to help us. Really, really meant a lot what you guys sent. It was just incredible what some people are doing here.
Yeah.
So shout out to them and thank you so much. I guess you want to update.
Well, you know, if you want, we can talk about food or the weather if you want instead. Yeah, give us the update. Give us an update. Yeah, having a beer.
Oh boy. Well, I went out. I've got my parabolic set out with the Zoom H4n and a battery bank with it. So I go out earlier. Everybody else was doing something, so I put my pistol on and went out there by myself. And I have my camera with me. I'm filming everything. Well, I can't find the parabolic. And I was like, I know it was right here. And I had it close to a bush. Well, I go up to it, and it's about 5 feet forward and laying on the ground.
Right.
That doesn't just fall over like that. It's on a tripod.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how it's in the middle of the dang bush. So I don't know what's up there. Hopefully it recorded about 15 hours worth of stuff.
Wow.
The battery was still good, but the card was full. So we'll see.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Lost Cryptids went out last night. All those guys, Dave, Chad, Blake, and Josh, went to a place I think that Mark had X'd off on the map. Well, it's this place that Mark had spent 6 months researching, and it got some really epic images. And Todd went with them to film. Well, they're going down the road, and they catch eye shine about 8 feet off the ground. So they stop. They get out, and then Chad's like going in after it, right? Well, I don't want to give a ton of stuff away here, but they're in there. Todd's filming them. It's all in night vision, and they're going in. Well, I don't know if it was. They catch eye shine again in the edge of the woods. I don't know how far, like maybe 40 or 50 yards high off the ground. Big eyes. Chad wants to go after it, right? So they're going in after it, and the other guys are behind them. Well, Dave is behind. He's the last one in line. Starts feeling sick. David is an FBI, is a retired federal agent, and he starts feeling disoriented. He said, "This is the way he said it. I felt like I was zoning out." So he stopped, and Todd comes back and is helping him and is like, trying to hold him, help get him back to the vehicle. And they get back. Chad's still going after the eyes, and Dave's like, we got to go and get Chad. So they managed to get Chad to come back. Well, now they're kind of weaving through east to west to get back to the vehicle, and he said he was feeling it in his chest, like electrical. He said it was just a weird feeling, and the way he said in the interview, it's you're just gonna have to watch the show.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to
Okay.
that much of it,
No. Okay. So obviously
just,
there's stuff going on.
Weird
Yeah.
stuff like that. We've got a ton. We have found another track, pretty good one. It was a little smaller than the other one, but just not far up the hill from where the other. So they're coming around here. When everything shuts down here, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I think that's when they're kind of slipping around and checking things out.
Right. Okay.
It has to be. The dogs going nuts again. The horses acting up. I told you they heard the screaming yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we're about to go out. I'm going to film Mark and his team, or Clay's team. Todd's going to film Mark Newville and his team. We're going to a different area. We're going back to the area that those guys saw the eye shine tonight. They set out a plot watcher there and put recorders out in that area. So we're going to go back and check on all that stuff and just see what's up. No one's seen one yet, but we think we've been pretty close to them.
Mm-hmm.
They felt like they were pushing one last night. I wasn't with them, but Todd was, and he was. I did a lot of interviews today because I missed them from the second day, so I had to do 2 days worth of interviews. So about 6 to 7 hours a day was everybody prepping during the heat. We had recorders out, and then cameras on the tree line, and then I was over doing interviews. So just getting everything caught up in that respect, and then had a team meeting, got everybody together, getting our communications good with one another. And Jeff Townsend's here. He showed up this morning.
Cool.
He had an odyssey of his own. So
wow. Yeah.
Everyone's prepping right now and getting ready to go out. So we're here comes somebody.
Probably one of those officers asking for our permits, asking for looking for Sasquatch and all this shit. So I'll get the permits to show him.
Apparently there's an officer here to talk to us.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Okay.
So,
I better let you go then.
All right.
An officer. Okay.
I'll let you guys know what's up.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. Thanks for checking in with us, and keep me posted.
Be careful.
All right. We'll do.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, y'all.
Good luck. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, that's not good, isn't it? An officer wants to talk to them. Don't know if we heard what sort of officer. We'll have to wait and find out.
What are officers doing way out in the woods? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. And what sort of...
we have FWC, but that's hunting and fishing and things like that, and they're not doing that, so I'm not sure.
Maybe they didn't. Yeah, is the permits? Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's in Oklahoma, I think, isn't it? Where they're doing the permits to hunt the Sasquatch. Well, look, let's stay positive, guys. We don't know what it's about. Could be something and nothing. But yeah, let's keep positive. Now you have a little connection to Bigfoot. You're in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What you pick? I guess you've picked up signs maybe when you've gone out, or suspected. Did you know anything about Bigfoot previously, or how did it happen?
No, I mean, you hear stories, of course. Everybody hears stories of Sasquatch and swamp monster. They call it skunk ape here. They call it a lot of things here, but you hear stories, of course, growing up, and but the older I got and the more research I started doing, the more some things that I became to know as normal probably weren't. They talk about the trees that are crossed. I would just chalk it up to, of course we get hurricanes and storms here all the time. Just little things, little sounds, certain ways the swamp will smell. It'll change on a dime. Nighttime especially, you've got all the bullfrogs and the crickets and everything else going, and then all of a sudden they just go silent. It's just little things that I've taken note of before that I just thought was normal. As I'm doing more research now, I'm thinking maybe not so much. Weird tree markings and scratches and just all sorts of things. I'm not a professional by any means, but it's really piquing my interest lately. So,
well, you'll be happy to know there are no professional Bigfooters out there. I mean, there's some guys really, doing their best, but it's hard to know what is what, isn't it? But I mean, there's obviously, stuff going on. Do you know anyone who's seen one?
I do, actually. My dad saw one.
Right. Okay.
He says he did, of course. And I wish he told me the story when I was a teenager. And of course, when you're a teenager, you don't believe anything and you're just angst and angry at the entire world. So it was a story that came up. We were camping, of course, and there happened to be the biggest wild boar I have ever seen in my entire life. If I stood next to this thing, no joke, the back of it would probably come up to here on me, and I'm 5'9". I mean, this thing was humongous. Now, of course, I didn't get that close to measure, just eyeballing. From the other side of the campfire, we have a hunting cabin up in northern Florida, and I've never seen anything like it. It was a female. She was on the move. It was a full moon. We had flashlights with us, and that sight, literally, our jaws dropped. It just put us in silence. And when he got to talking about an experience where he also was an avid camper before I even came along. And him and his buddies were out in the Withlacoochee State Forest over at Hog Island. And they saw what they believed to be something they couldn't explain. They said it let out a scream like they never heard before. Some, a bunch of boys drunk on beer going running after something in the woods. It's just something fun to do, but it stopped them in their tracks. They said the thing turned around and looked at them, and they stopped in their tracks, and it hesitated and then ran off in the other direction. So he said he never forgot it his entire life, and wish he had the wherewithal to, get out some sort of either let somebody else know about it or had a camera on hand. I'm talking back, oh boy, this was 74 or 76, 1974. I don't remember exactly when. He was actually camping out there while they were building a lot of stuff in Florida here. Instead of paying for a hotel, they all just went out and camped at Hog Island. So it was about that time that he was down here building some of the prisons and school systems. But I knew he wasn't lying because you could just see it. You could just see it in his face. And it's something I've never forgotten. So,
and back then, of course, with no internet, it was really harder to find out what was going on, What did you do before the internet?
Yeah. And, being a tough guy, nobody ever talked about it after that. So it wasn't like they, rushed home and told everybody, you just don't talk about that sort of thing. So.
But it gives you he must have had the kind of, the Bigfoot bug. A lot of people that have these quick glances or, they're always usually a few seconds, but they need to kind of have a need to confirm it again and need to see. I think that's what a lot of these guys out there on the expedition tonight also want, to see it. This sounds kind of like maybe could be right. One officer probably just doing a routine check. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, let's stay positive for that.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about this. Randonautica. I only heard about this because Zach was going on about it, and he mentioned you were doing it, and I had a look, and then I decided to download the app, and I thought, no, I just don't know what I'm going to find on the other side. What's going on? I mean, there's a lot of hype about it, and you seem to be hitting on some spots with interesting things happening. What is it, and how does it work?
Okay, so for anybody that doesn't know what Randonautica is, this is a cell phone app that you can download. It's free. And what it does, in a very simple sense, I don't think anybody really understands it who uses it. However, the application takes your location, which is red flag number 1, and uses Google Maps, red flag number 2. But what it does is it puts, so you start the app up. Let's start from the beginning. You start the app up, and you pick whether you want a cluster or a single point. And what that means is that it's quantum generated random points that somehow feed back into its algorithm to help you find what you're looking for. And I'll explain that in a second. So you either pick a cluster, which is a high probability of finding something unique, or a single one that's hitting really strong by itself. Once you pick that, it asks you to how far out in a radius would you like to go? You choose that. And then it asks you to think of an intent of what you want to find. So when this app first came out, it came out at the perfect time, right at the start of COVID, the end of February last year it came out. So everybody was homebound. And this gave people a way to explore their surroundings while still quarantining. You could set a point within walking distance of your house, think of an intention, and it would send you a dropped pin on a map to go and find it. It's actually, in theory, a very beautiful thing. Everybody believes different things about the way the universe works, all of that. Here's the thing. If you have an intent in your mind, if you want to go someplace and find something blue, you're going to find something blue. It's just the way it is. If you want to find something that reminds you of a loved one, when you get to that point, you're going to be searching high and low until you find something that reminds you of a loved one. So that's the premise of it. And it's actually very cool. Now, where it went wrong was not long after the app came out, everybody was like, oh, cool. I'm going to start looking for scary stuff. I'm going to start looking for murder scenes. I'm going to start looking for weapons or whatever. And they started reporting their findings via the Randonautica app, because it asks you if you found what you were looking for right on the app. And then, of course, on YouTube as well, the blogs all over the place. The thing that really made this famous was a group of kids in Seattle. I don't remember, of course, right now. I think it was something creepy. I'm not sure. Put an intent. It led them to the beach, and they actually found a suitcase with a human body inside it. And that, yes, once that hit the map, Randonautica took off. And that's when people really started using it the wrong way. I think a lot of embellishment comes out of this. I'm not going to say the F word. I'm not going to say people are faking it, but I think a lot of embellishment comes from it naturally. There are reports of people being stalked and followed. Do I think that's untrue? No, I don't. Do I think it happens every time? No, I don't. I think you're going to get what you're looking for. So if you want to turn the app on and find something beautiful, something blue, a new flower, you're not going to be stalked, followed, and subsequently injured. I don't think that Randonautica has a full-time force of people that just follow random people around to scare them. I think that's physically impossible. But I do believe, I likened it to, it's sort of like if the dark web and Pokemon Go had a baby. That's kind of what Randonautica is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking about when you found that leg? That was an interesting find.
Yeah. I'll give you one guess. See, See, that's the thing. That's the thing. The thing that nobody really talks about, especially when you have a YouTube channel, is if you filmed all of the awesome coincidences that you find, or happy stuff, or dead ends, because you do get a lot of dead ends with this application. It will send you to people's backyards. It'll send you to the middle of the ocean. And that's not to say it's not picking up on your intention. Something could have happened there long ago that's no longer there, if that's what you believe. But it's just, the whole thing is just absolutely crazy. So the problem is, like I said, they just don't want to see that stuff. So it's hard when you're doing Randonautica. It's such a popular topic, especially now on YouTube. If it's not in your face, gory, scary, creepy, or got you chased, the video is really not going to do that well. So we actually utilize it almost every day. And the chances of finding something off the charts are,
could happen, couldn't it?
It could, yes,
could happen,
and it has, but it's not every time. People think that they're going to turn it on and be, it's going to happen, and it doesn't happen like that at all.
Look, guys, we've got another update. He's back. I hope everything's okay.
That was very interesting. That was the FWC, Florida Wildlife. Let me get my thing here. Florida Wildlife Control. I guess that's what that stands for. And he says, "What are y'all doing? Looking for Sasquatch?" I said, "Yeah, are there any out here?" And he just kind of looked at me, and it's like, "Well, we take reports every now and then, but I don't know." I said, "How many have you seen?" He said, "Well, I haven't really seen one yet." I said, "You want to see a picture?" He said, "You got pictures?" I said, "Yeah, I got some pictures." So I showed him a couple of March really good ones, and he just looked at them. And I was like, "What is that?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "You got that out here?" I said, "Yes, sir. I came from right out here." He said, "Well,
see, it's not a bear."
Yeah, it's not a bear. And he said, "Well, he was just checking our permits to make sure we were legal." He said, "You got too many tents out, but it's not full, so it's not that big a deal. But you guys can have 30 people per permit at the group campground, which is at the end of gate 1, all the way down at by the lake or something." I mean, he said, "If it comes down to that, if the place fills up, obviously it's Saturday, it's not full, so it's probably not going to fill up. But he said, as long as there's not an issue with room, you guys are fine. Wished us luck." So it was cool. Wasn't like we were in trouble or anything. Clay was just freaking out. I knew we were fine. I just had to go talk to the guy.
That's a relief.
And Clay had we had our stuff, ducks in a row, and Clay and Chad were taking care of things anyway, so it wasn't like they actually needed me, but I wanted to go out there and talk to them for sure.
Cool. There's a huge sigh of relief in the chat.
Yes. Clay said, he asked me first, he said, "Oh, we're just out here filming some wildlife and stuff." He asked me straight up, "Y'all looking for Sasquatch?" And then I asked him if he'd seen any boogers.
That's awesome.
Said,
for all you know, he could have been watching us. For all you know, he could have been watching us.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They're just doing their job.
You never know.
Nah, he's a young guy. He's out there doing his job. It's not like anybody complained. He's just checking permits, because we have a shit ton of tents out here.
Yeah.
We got 18 people and 18 tents, and these we do have the area with the water pretty well locked down. So.
Well, it's all good then. I'm relieved. I'm pleased.
Yeah, we're fine. I figured we were fine. I didn't think they were coming to run us out or anything. Yeah. That's not. These guys don't care.
No.
About any of that stuff. No. They know. I believe they probably know. Because I asked him, I was like, "What about stories?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, we heard a couple." And I was just talking to Zaskey, and he knows a couple of retired FWCs. Like, remember, they take 4 or 5 reports a month. So,
right.
So yeah, they get the reports. But he's a young guy. He might be new. I don't know. He's just doing his job.
Yeah. Well, you might see if there's a follow up. There's a follow up, isn't there? But hopefully Everything's
There's,
good.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of bunched up in a bunch of tents over there, but like you said, if it becomes a room issue, then we'll have to either consolidate or just move to the group campground. Or he said you'd be back there by yourself. There's no one else back there, and just have a lot more privacy back there. But this is the best place right here. I didn't want to go back there.
No. Okay. It's just great seeing you looking so relaxed, and you're enjoying it. I'm just thinking back to last year and how different things were, and how you're actually there, you're doing it, and you seem well
I went out to change that parabolic by myself. I put my gun on to do it, but I didn't take anybody with me. And Jeff was here, but I was like in a hurry. I wanted to hurry up and do it before it got dark because it's hard to find as it is. As a matter of fact, I went to do it the other night and I couldn't find it. I had to come back and look in the daytime. It's once you get out there, everything looks the same. At night, you're not really sure where you are. So I found it in the daytime. And Chris has his recorder set just to record at night. They'll record like from 12 to 12 or 8 to 8 or whatever, and then they shut off, and then they'll come back on again. So a ton of audio and video to go through already.
Yeah. And you're not even looking at that, listening to that stuff yet, are you? You're just storing it.
Right. We have no idea what we've got on those. We won't know until the movie comes out, until the series comes out. And we've got a lot of help with that, actually. I got New Bill to do footage. Zaskey's going to help me put together the story. I'm going to Dropbox him a lot of the footage, and we'll collaborate and talk about how we want it to go and what looks like what, and he'll do some editing on it and send it to me, and I'll drop it in. So it'll get done a little faster that way. Because when I leave here, I've got to go home for a day, get my truck detailed, and then I'm trading it in. I've got to go drive it all the way to Lubbock, Texas, and trade it in for another truck. So I'm going to be home for one day, and I'm back at work for 12 hours. So
Wow.
Yeah, there's no rush, but as soon as you can.
Yeah. I'm sure I was getting a lot of emails. When's that? Did y'all go to Florida?
Yeah. Did you do the expedition yet?
Yeah. I heard I got a lot of those emails last year. And we didn't get, I was like writing everyone back. And don't get upset with me when I email you back that I just email a couple of sentences. People write me these long emails and I read every word. But I only email back a little bit because I got 20 more to go through. So don't get upset with me if I don't tell you a whole story back. Just don't stop emailing me, because I do read every single one eventually.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up sometimes with everything else as well, isn't it? Work.
I know you get a bunch of them too.
Yeah, and I do try my best. But I'm functioning at
That's what happens when you get to be famous like you are.
Oh yeah, really famous. I'm getting bills through the door more than anything, so it's not that it's not that special. Okay, well, thanks for the update.
Yeah, no problem. I figured I'd come back so people didn't worry.
Yeah, thank you.
Blown away or shut down or anything. That's not the case.
That's brilliant. Yeah, cheers for that. We've got Tex and Bigfoot Michigan Rob tomorrow night.
All right, cool.
Jason can't make it for Anything Goes, but it's a special Anything Goes, isn't it? It's anything update expedition, Anything Goes. So
you got a big crowd. I didn't even look.
We got 385 at the moment.
Woo.
Another whopper tonight. I know.
Nice.
Overwhelmed. Great chat. Great live. Get great people in tonight. And last night, I don't want to go on about it, but everyone was brilliant last night. I was really proud of the people in the chat and how they handled everything with dignity and class, and that just made me really proud of the people that are subscribing and that are here supporting us, all of us. So,
absolutely.
And I'm proud of you guys, what you're doing, because people don't realise what a feat it is, what you've done.
It's rough.
all the
It's
planets,
really
not just showing up. It's everything before that. So
It is. I'll say this: it is as hard as I thought it was going to be, but so much more tiresome.
Mm.
I mean, we're getting ready to go out here in about 4 minutes, and I'm already beat. So I know when I come in, I'll be sleeping, and then the other guys will be out. As soon as we come in, there'll be guys, I think, going out and checking cameras and recorders. So
yeah,
we're trying to stick as much to that filming or something going all the time as possible. The heat is kind of preventing that at points, but it's a good time for us to regroup and get things together, get things charged up and ready to go for the nighttime is the time anyway. You know?
yeah. Okay. Well, as Jean says, everyone's still praying for you all, for your safety and for success and everything. So look forward to catching up with you again tomorrow night, same time, same place.
Thank you, Miss Jean. Thank you, Mike Stetton, also heading out.
Yeah, and Mike
of
for
hundreds. So,
setting up the
all right,
project.
guys. Richelle, y'all take care.
Yeah,
You
say hi to the guys.
Be careful.
I'm sure they're watching.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye. There we go. So I'm so pleased he came back on, and just as sorry, someone beginning with K said probably just a routine check. And,
Yeah, SWC, and that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's good. Thank you to Kerry Dexter. Thank you for that, and a couple of the guys that have donated tonight. I'm sorry, the chat was running so fast that by the time I try and click one of the comments, it goes. So that's why I put it onto a slow mode. Every 30 seconds, you can leave a comment. I've never had to do that before because I've never had this amount of people in. But it's great, and I'm loving it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh, and Dave Dominique. Obviously, he sounds like he got zapped, doesn't he? He was feeling nauseous, a bit weird. So Kerry's not going to give us too much information. We're going to have to wait for the documentary. But obviously, things are happening. And like that guy said, he's had reports of Sasquatch there.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're there anyway.
Oh yeah, of course they do.
I don't think Kerry's going to tell us if there's something. I don't know. He's not so good at keeping secrets. I'm pretty sure he'll let us know if they catch something. But yeah, I'm glad it's all good and everything's carrying on. And yeah, looking forward to tomorrow night. So we were talking about this Randonautica. Yeah, so maybe I might try it then. Randonautica. It's such a weird name as well. Why did they think of these?
I don't know. It's supposed to be like random adventure, I think is what it chalks itself up to. And again, you go out with good intent, you're going to be fine. We found plenty of really cool, beautiful things. The whole part of it was to be able to go a different way, possibly, and explore a new place around your home or whatever that you've never seen before to enjoy. So, it's not all murder weapons. And I mean, we found a little bag of money, we found throwing knives, and then we found the cremation bottle.
The ashes.
Yeah. Those were all very exceptional things, but that's 3 out of, we've probably used it thousands of times by now in a year. So it just depends.
I've got someone else joining us now, someone who you know. How you doing, Zach?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
We're doing all right.
Oh man.
Now you two know each other well. You do quite a bit together, don't you?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, a couple times a week at least. And like I said in the chat, I'm either going to thank him for this experience or strangle him for it. I haven't decided yet.
Here.
Right there, throat punch.
Ahead. Yep.
Yes.
Have a think about it. Yeah, I mean, you do. Is it on both your channels? You're doing. Well, explain what you do. What you talk about when you do your lives. Any of you, take your time.
Go for it, Zach.
Go ahead.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, just getting the creators of that are on YouTube that are out exploring or doing the doing paranormal or just out doing adventures or camera work as far as that, making short films, productions, just trying to get people to know who they are, get them noticed, let people know, hey, this is what this person's doing and this is what they're about, letting everybody see who they are. It's pretty fun, and you get to learn a lot too. I mean, I feel like I'm learning something. I know Richelle G, she's learning. We're always learning something from somebody that we're talking, whether it's in the chat, watching you, watching Kerry, or watching
that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you.
No, thank you.
That's weird.
But
Right.
it's fun to get to know different people and hear what they have to say. And Richelle G, every time I've had her on my show, it's you got to get her back because there's so much to hear. She has so much to say. She has a lot to say and a lot to learn from too. She seems to know YouTube. She's picking up the way YouTube works really well and explains and helps so many people, and many people hadn't even told her yet that she has helped. So that's pretty cool to hear that behind the scenes. So Richelle G is pretty awesome. So
thank you.
There you go.
Very
well,
sweet.
I mean, I really enjoy your videos, Richelle. I've been watching them, and I like how you talk your way through it, and how you're editing, maybe, but you take us on a journey, and it's interesting, and you keep us there. And yeah, the stuff you find, it's amazing what people leave behind, whether it's physical or spiritual or whatever. But we can come across some weird stuff, and you certainly have found some weird things.
Found some weird, yeah. The weirdest. First of all, thank you for saying that. You said it perfectly. It's interesting to see what people leave behind, both physically and spiritually. And even if it's not an active, intelligent haunting, there's still energy there, and they're still telling their stories, whether they're actively there or not. So it's interesting to go in and see and feel all of that. But along the weird lines, and Zach's laughing because he already knows what I'm going to say.
Yep.
Last year, it was about a year ago exactly, to make a very long story short, we stumbled across on a road trip it was a dilapidated, didn't have a roof, only had 3 of the 4 walls, it was called a drive-in diner. And it was just a restaurant, but it was called a drive-in diner. So it caught our eye because I believe it was just on the very tip of Florida or the very southern point of Georgia. We were headed to North Carolina, and it caught our eye because, of course, all of the stink vine and the passion vine and everything was just sort of eating it. You could barely see it, but you could see this old, beautiful neon sign. And so we pulled a quick U-ey, and of course, didn't have permission to be there, but that's besides the point. So there was nothing left. It didn't matter. No windows, no doors. There was no signs, whatever. So we get out to take some pictures. I didn't even film that much, to be honest. It was mostly still shots. And in the back right-hand corner was a deep freezer. And it was the first time I actually got the urge to open it, because everybody knows when you're exploring, you're either going to find a really dirty potty, always. I don't know what it is. People walk in there, they feel like they have to go to the bathroom. And of course, there's no power or water, so that's not going anywhere. It's marinating. That's besides the point. Or freezers. So Sunshine, of course, is with me, and she's like, hey, you should go open that. And I'm like, sure, why not? This place has probably been empty since, 1980 with no roof, no nothing. So I walk over to it and I hear the hum, and I'm like, this sounds like it's running, but there's no possible way. There's no way. I grab the handle, open it, and it is stocked full of frozen mystery meat. And that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is out of one of the bags was this little tiny raccoon paw.
Oh, no.
So I shut it. I screamed and shut it.
Yeah.
It didn't scare me. It startled me.
Yeah.
So I had to open again just to, of course, take a picture and be sure. So the bottom half was all frostbite bags. You couldn't really see what was in it. The top half was new meat. Oh, Zach, look at you.
Look at him. What's he like? What is he like? Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that. You know that. I'll be giving it back, in your chat.
Stop.
No, just don't. Just don't.
I won't.
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
explain that. Yeah, but yeah, that is random stuff, isn't it, to find? But
It is. It's very startling. Like, why? Who is coming here to eat this? Why is it still being stored here? Were they serving this when the restaurant was still a restaurant? Like, all of these thoughts go through your head, and then you're like, what is it plugged into? So it was plugged into an extension cord that went through a PVC pipe through the concrete wall, out into the grass and into the woods. And we did not follow it because I did not want to know where it went.
Wow.
And we left after that because we didn't want somebody coming after us thinking we're stealing their raccoon.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is really crazy. Bobby, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm getting spoilt tonight.
Wow, Bobby, that's awesome.
It is awesome. Guys, we've come to the end of the hour. Richelle, we will have to have you back on again. And
See?
I know you've got so many things, so many little places that you've been and stories and things that you found. And I find it really intriguing. I do love the exploring thing. I don't really do it myself. I go out with Zach and do my walkabouts, but I don't go into buildings, but it's still kind of exploring for me. And like you say, you don't know what you're going to find because we can't throw anything away, can we? Apart from it doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it stays on the planet no matter what you do, unless you can burn it.
Unless it's here in America. I mean, they kind of seem to be knocking buildings down left and right. It seems like. Right. I do like what they do over where you're at. Is that you can't touch it. I mean, I love that. We try our best to keep as much as we can. But yeah, and in terms of people's property, little things. I mean, whatever they've got, it doesn't go anywhere, does it? It just gets either recycled or
shuffle around from one place to the next.
Exactly, yeah. So the chances of you finding something, it's going to happen. But Enigma, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Is it Jimmy? Wow.
Wow.
Oh, is that Jimmy? Is it Enigma Jimmy? Oh, Jimmy. Wow, Jimmy. Thank you.
Wow. Head Carter, too.
No way.
Yep, there's the train.
You have got the best crew here besides mine. Sorry, no offense.
Fantastic.
Looking at these comments, and they are just fantastic. They ask really great questions. They're very into the whole thing. I love it. They're great. Like I say, last night really showed me. It was a little incident. Like I say, I'm not going to go in it. I don't really like drama, but I was so proud of the chat and the people that have been drawn to my channel. And it just made me feel really warm inside that everybody's on the same page. We're all trying to do the same thing and be nice people, have a nice discussion, and we don't need negativity. No. It doesn't do any good to any of us. And you were really star people last night. So thank you to everyone in the chat and the moderators who keep everything going, keep everything tight in there. We never really have any trouble. No. And that's what I really love about this channel is it's so hassle free. There's a lot of good people out there. So drama. Careful, don't you? Almost got drama. Some things have to be said sometimes, I let a lot of things go, but when things come here, and for me, Kerry's more than just BIGFOOT Odyssey. He's my friend, and when people are attacking him and BIGFOOT Odyssey, I can't stand by and not say something. He's a big boy; he doesn't need a bodyguard, but sometimes you've got to say something. And when it's coming on my channel, I've got to put my foot down and go, no, we're not doing this. Mike, again, thank you. Love you too. Everyone,
I'm going to be here tomorrow night, of course. It's kind of going to be anything goes, but we'll have another update from Kerry. And Jason's not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. But Tex and Bigfoot, Mitchell and Rob are going to be here, and it's going to be a good night. So until then, everyone, have a good night, and see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.